After Prince Charles tested positive for COVID-19 on February 10th, many feared it was only a matter of time before his mother, Queen Elizabeth, tested positive herself. After all, he had met with her 2 days before his diagnosis was announced. Today, Britain's worst fears were confirmed when Buckingham Palace announced that the Queen herself had received a positive COVID-19 diagnosis. In a brief statement shared by The Independent, Buckingham Palace said it confirmed that the Queen has today tested positive for COVID. Her Majesty is experiencing mild cold-like symptoms, but expects to continue light duties at Windsor over the coming week. She will continue to receive medical attention and will follow all the appropriate guidelines. The Queen received her first COVID vaccination in January 2021. A month later, and during a call with health officials, The Guardian reported that the monarch had urged others to think about other people rather than themselves. She had even shared her own experience, saying that, "It was very quick, and I've had lots of letters from people who have been very surprised at how easy it was to get the vaccine. And the jab? It didn't hurt at all." The Queen and the late Duke of Edinburgh received their first dose at the same time, and it is believed that she received her follow-up dose shortly thereafter, per the BBC. The Queen's COVID diagnosis was announced a few weeks after she celebrated her Platinum Jubilee on February 6th. The BBC says she had marked the occasion on the eve of her special day by holding a meeting with charity workers. Just days later, she spent the day with Prince Charles when he took part in an investiture in Windsor Castle. And 2 days after that, The Independent reported that the heir to the throne tested positive for COVID, but that he recovered quickly. Even though the Queen is vaccinated, public fears for her health are expected to be at a high, particularly because of her age. She is 95 after all, and because she had a health scare as recently as last October, when she was not only forced to cancel all of her engagements, but also instructed to stop walking her dogs. The royal family is no stranger to the highly contagious disease, as several members of the British royal family have tested positive for the virus since the pandemic broke out. Prince Charles first tested positive in March of 2020, not long after the pandemic began, and immediately after, it was announced that Prince Albert of Monaco had confirmed he was diagnosed with the disease. Following his bout with the illness, BBC reported that the Prince of Wales had said he got away with it quite lightly. But his son, Prince William, was not as lucky. The Duke of Cambridge tested positive in April, at about the same time his father did, but he chose not to tell anyone because, as he shared, via The Sun, "There were important things going on, and I didn't want to worry anyone." It is understood that while his father's symptoms were mild, William struggled with COVID. Prince Charles's wife Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, tested positive for the disease after her husband's second bout with the illness, as has Prince Anne's husband, Sir Timothy Lawrence, per Wales Online. And because of exposure to people with COVID, other members of the family, including Princess Anne, Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, and Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, have had to self-isolate. Up until the Queen's COVID diagnosis was announced, CNN reported that the Queen was gearing up to resume her regular round of duties, which included holding audiences and attending Privy Council meetings. She even had several big appearances planned for March, including a diplomatic reception, the annual Commonwealth Service, and a Thanksgiving service to mark the one-year anniversary of the passing of her husband, Prince Philip. We're sure Britain is rooting for the Queen to get well as quickly as possible so that everything can return to normal. For now, worried fans can only take to social media to send their best wishes to the sick monarch. One fan tweeted, "God bless the Queen. She has had such a long and proud reign." Another said, "God save the Queen. Get well soon, madam." A third remarked, "I am so sorry to hear this news. I pray for a speedy and full recovery for the Queen, and I wish her family and all of Great Britain the very best wishes."